Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, another stabbing attack takes place in Jerusalem's Old City, in which an Israeli man is light to moderately injured. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announces a series of security measures. Senior IDF officers meet with senior officials from the Palestinian security forces in an attempt to calm tensions in the West Bank. Another stabbing attack occurred in the Old City of Jerusalem this morning, not far from the location where another stabbing attack took place on Saturday, as an Israeli man was reportedly injured in light to moderate condition after a Palestinian woman attacked him with a knife. Police spokesman Miki Rosenfeld told TV7 that the incident was a terror attack in which a Palestinian woman approached the victim from behind. Then she stabbed the 35-year-old Jewish man in the upper part of his body. Rosenfeld noted that the man managed to respond by firing his pistol at the attacker, injuring her severely. Medical teams that arrived at the scene treated both the Israeli victim, who was reported in light to moderate condition, as well as the Palestinian attacker, who was reported in critical condition. They were then taken to a nearby hospital for further treatment. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced a series of security measures that fell short from an extensive military operation in the West Bank. As part of Netanyahu's pledge to stem the rise of violence, Israeli forces destroyed the homes of two Palestinians that committed terror attacks in the past and sealed off part of a third in and around Jerusalem before dawn. One of the houses destroyed was of the family of a Palestinian Islamist who committed a terror act in November of 2014, in which he murdered 4 rabbis and a police officer in a Jerusalem synagogue before he and his accomplice to the attack were shot and killed by security forces at the scene.
قوات كبيرة من شرطة الاحتلال امبارح الساعة 12 بالليل حمت البيوت بهمجية وعنجهية وقامت بالاعتداء علينا كشباب بالضرب وقامت بإخلائنا فورا بدون إعطاء ولا أي مدة للإخلاء. أخلتنا فورا إلى الشوارع.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who visited an army base in the West Bank, said other measures would include installing security cameras on West Bank roads, as well as deploying more police officers in the eastern part of Jerusalem.
We're using additional security forces. They have clear instructions to act against any danger to life, their own and to innocent people. We're taking other steps. And unfortunately, a lot of this goes back to the incitement from Hamas, from the Palestinian Authority, from Islamist movements in Israel itself, which spread a lie that Israel is trying to change the status quo on the Temple Mount, that Israel wants in any way to hurt the sacred sites of Islam. We're the guarantors of the sacred sites of Islam. We're the reason that the sacred sites of Islam or the sacred sites of Christianity and Judaism do not look like Palmyra.
Meanwhile, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said at his office in the West Bank city of Ramallah during a security assessment meeting on the escalating situation that he did not want a spike in deadly violence in both Jerusalem and the West Bank to deteriorate or spiral into an armed confrontation with Israel.
نحن نقول لهم لا نريد تصعيدا عسكريا ولا أمنيا بيننا وبينكم. لا نريد هذا قلناها بالفم المليان، وكل تعليماتنا إلى أجهزتنا وإلى تنظيمنا وإلى شبابنا وإلى جماهيرنا نحن لا نريد التصعيد.
President Abbas warned, however, that the Palestinian people will not stand by if attacked by Jewish settlers in the West Bank. The Palestinian leader also called on Israel to return to the negotiating table in a bid to find a viable political solution to the decades-old conflict.
يعني عندما تأتي قبيلة مجموعة من المستوطنين وتهاجم قرية، ماذا سيكون ردنا عليها؟ كيف سيرد عليها؟ ابعدوا عنا، نحن لسنا الذين نبدأ، نحن لسنا الذين نبادر، وعلى إسرائيل أن تتوقف وأن تقبل اليد الممدودة لها للآن بأننا نريد الوصول إلى حل سياسي بالطرق السلمية وليس بغيرها إطلاقا.
Now to central Israel, where 5 policemen sustained light injuries last night in the city of Jaffa, which borders southern Tel Aviv, in violent clashes with Israeli Arab rioters seeking to demonstrate solidarity with the events in Jerusalem. The police said that the riots had begun in the course of a demonstration called by the northern chapter of the Islamic movement and by residents of Jaffa. The demonstrators reportedly began to throw stones at policemen from close range. The police said that the rioters continued on a spree of destruction and threw stones at vehicles, including buses. 6 of the rioters were arrested. The police said it dispersed the rioters by means of a dialogue with public figures in Jaffa and deployed additional forces to prevent further disturbances. The police spokesperson's unit noted that they had acted with determination to locate the rioters who injured the policemen and disturbed public order in order to bring them to justice. Now to the West Bank, where senior IDF officers, together with the commander of the Judea and Samaria division, met with Palestinian security forces in a bid to calm tensions in the West Bank. A top military official said that it was in both sides' interest to lower the tension. An Israeli political official said that the Jewish state wanted quiet, not escalation, noting that messages in that spirit were relayed to the Palestinian leadership. However, Israel noted that it would not be deterred from expanding the actions that it was taking should the Palestinian security forces fail to take action to restore quiet on the ground. Now to southeast Turkey, where the United States has reportedly deployed additional helicopters and personnel in what Washington said would improve its capabilities in both Iraq and Syria. The announcement comes as Russia intensified its strikes against Islamist targets in Turkey's southern neighbor. Meanwhile, Russian Deputy Defense Minister Anatoly Antonov urged members of the US-led coalition conducting airstrikes in Syria to pass intelligence to Russia on the positions of Islamic State militants. The Russian defense official's call comes following a U.S. suggestion relayed to the Russians in which cooperation on Islamic targets would ensue. Antonov said, however, that cooperation between the two powers should be much wider than suggested.
Я хочу еще раз повторить. Потенциал российско-американского сотрудничества по линии Министерства обороны намного шире того, что предложили нам сегодня американцы.
The Russian Deputy Defense Minister also stressed that Russia is very careful in its targeting in Syria, noting that all information received from the Syrian regime is independently verified by Russian intelligence.
Мы используем данные космической, воздушной разведки, и не только ту информацию, которую мы получаем от сирийских партнеров. Мы 100 раз проверяем эти данные, эти решения, которые принимаются на их основе, тщательно взвешенные, продуманные, рассчитанные, и мы наносим удары только когда знаем 100%, что мы попадаем в цель. Ни по каким, ни по гражданским, ни военным объектам мы не бьем.
The United States and Russia say they have the same enemy, including the Islamic State and the Al-Qaeda-linked Nusra Front, but the United States fiercely opposes Moscow's support for Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and accuses Moscow of mainly targeting other insurgents who oppose the rule of Assad. Thank you for watching us. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hassan. Have a Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.